Hello, seeker of growth. It is an honor to welcome you here today. If you are watching this, it means you are looking for something. Perhaps you are looking for motivation, perhaps a change in perspective, or perhaps you are striving to master the English language. Today, we begin a journey designed to give you all three. This is the first in a series of immersive sessions. We are trying something different here. We are not just going to talk about grammar rules or memorize lists of words. We are going to explore profound stories about the human spirit. Why this format? Because your brain is wired for stories, not textbooks. We are applying the immersion method, strongly advocated by linguist Dr. Stephen Krashen. Krashen's theory of comprehensible input suggests that we acquire language best when we understand the message, even if we don't know every single word. When you are deeply engaged in an interesting narrative, your brain is subconsciously absorbing syntax, vocabulary, and rhythm. You are learning without the pain of studying. So I invite you to relax. Do not try to translate every word in your head. Just follow the flow of the stories. Let the meaning wash over you. Today, we will explore themes of patience, resilience, and the power of perspective. The metaphor, the Chinese bamboo tree. Let us begin with a lesson from nature about the true nature of growth. Far away in the east, there is a special type of bamboo. When a farmer decides to grow this bamboo, he must prepare himself for a test of faith. In the first year, the farmer plants the seed. He waters it and nurtures the soil. At the end of the year, he sees nothing. No sprout, no sign of life. The second year arrives. He continues to water and fertilize. Still, nothing breaks the surface of the ground. The third year passes. The fourth year passes. It is the same routine. Water, nurture, wait. Many people would give up by now. They would assume the seed is dead. They would call the farmer foolish for wasting his time on empty dirt. But then, in the fifth year, something miraculous happens. A tiny sprout emerges. And then, in a period of just 6 weeks, that bamboo tree grows to a staggering height of 90 feet. It becomes a towering giant. Now, here is the question. Did the bamboo grow 90 feet in 6 weeks, or did it grow in 5 years? The answer, of course, is 5 years. During those first 4 years of apparent silence, the bamboo was not dead. It was developing a massive, intricate root system underground. It was building the foundation necessary to support its future explosive growth. Without that foundation, it could never sustain its height. This story is a perfect mirror for any ambitious goal you have, including learning English. We live in a world obsessed with instant results. We want fluency in 30 days. We want success overnight. When we study for a month and don't feel fluent, we look at our empty soil and think we have failed. But you must understand the silent phase. When you are consuming content, listening, and reading, you are building your root system. You are creating neural pathways that are currently invisible. Do not mistake invisible progress for zero progress. Your 90-foot growth is coming, but only if you keep watering the soil during the quiet years. We see this truth echoed in history. Consider Thomas Edison, one of the greatest inventors to ever live. We know him for the light bulb, the phonograph, and the motion picture camera. We see his 90-foot bamboo tree of success. But we rarely think about his years of watering the soil. When developing the nickel-iron battery, Edison went through an agonizing process. He worked on it for over 5 months without a breakthrough. One of his associates, Walter S. Mallory, later wrote about finding Edison in the lab, surrounded by hundreds of failed experiments. Mallory asked, "Isn't it a shame that with the tremendous amount of work you have done, you haven't been able to get any results?" Edison turned to him like a flash with a smile and replied, "Results? Why, man, I have gotten a lot of results. I know several thousand things that won't work." Edison didn't see failure, he seen information. He understood that every no from the universe was one step closer to a final yes. He was building his root system, one failed experiment at a time. Stop judging your success by what you can see today. Trust the underground process. Consistency beats intensity. A little water every day is better than a flood once a month. Refit your definition of failure. It is just data collection. The metaphor, the cracked pot. Let us shift our focus now to how we view ourselves and our perceived weaknesses. There is an old parable about a water bearer in India. He had two large pots, each hung on the end of a pole which he carried across his neck. One of the pots was perfect and always delivered a full portion of water. The other pot had a deep crack in its side. At the end of the long walk from the stream to the master's house, the cracked pot always arrived only half full. For 2 years, this went on daily. The perfect pot was proud of its accomplishments, flawless in its performance. But the poor cracked pot was ashamed of its own imperfection, miserable that it could only do half of what it was made to do. One day, by the stream, the cracked pot spoke to the water bearer. "I am ashamed of myself," it said, "because this crack in my side causes water to leak out all the way back to your house." The bearer smiled kindly and replied, "Did you notice that there were flowers only on your side of the path, but not on the other pot's side?" He continued, "I have always known about your flaw, so I planted flower seeds on your side of the path. Every day, as we walk back, you have watered them. For 2 years, I have been able to pick these beautiful flowers to decorate the master's table. Without you being just the way you are, there would not be this beauty to grace the house." We all have cracks. We have insecurities, past failures, and limitations. In the context of language learning, your cracks might be your accent, your struggle with certain grammar tenses, or your fear of speaking in public. It is easy to look at others who seem like perfect pots, those who speak flawlessly and confidently. You might feel ashamed that you only arrive half full, but this story teaches us the alchemy of perspective, turning base metal into gold. Your supposed weaknesses can be the source of unique value. Perhaps your struggle to learn English makes you a more empathetic listener. Perhaps your accent is not a flaw, but a beautiful marker of your heritage and the effort you are making. Do not wish to be a perfect pot. Recognize that your unique cracks can water flowers that no one else can. Real life. Example: the Silent Symphony. History provides us with a profound example of this alchemy in the life of Ludwig van Beethoven. By his late 20s, Beethoven, one of the greatest composers the world had ever known, began to lose his hearing. Imagine the cruelty of that fate. A musician who cannot hear music. It is like a painter going blind. He was devastated. He contemplated ending his own life. He wrote in a letter about his deep humiliation when others heard a flute in the distance, and he heard nothing. He was a severely cracked pot, but he did not stop carrying water. He shifted his perspective. He realized that while he could not hear the music outside, the music inside him was louder than ever. He began to compose based on vibration and memory. Some of his most powerful, complex, and transcendental works, including the magnificent Ninth Symphony, were composed when he was completely deaf. When the Ninth Symphony premiered, he had to be turned around physically to see the audience clapping and cheering, because he could not hear the thundering applause. His crack, his deafness, forced him to bypass conventional sounds and tap into something deeper, something universal, creating beauty that a perfect hearing composer might never have accessed. Stop comparing your behind the scenes with everyone else's highlight reel. Your imperfections are not reasons to stop. They are simply constraints to innovate around. If you cannot change your circumstances, you must change your perspective on them. We often become paralyzed because the gap between where we are and where we want to be seems impossible to cross. This final story addresses the power of the incremental. An old man was walking along a beach one morning after a terrible storm. The tide had washed thousands upon thousands of starfish onto the shore. As far as the eye could see, the beach was covered in them, creating a blanket of orange and purple. They were beginning to dry out in the morning sun. In the distance, the old man saw a young boy. The boy was jogging towards the water, then running back to the sand, bending over and repeating the process. As the old man approached, he saw that the boy was picking up starfish one by one and gently throwing them back into the ocean. The old man watched him for a moment, feeling cynical. He walked up to the boy and said, "Young man, what are you doing? Look at this beach. There are thousands of starfish here. The sun is rising higher. You cannot possibly save them all. You are just one boy. Do you really think you can make a difference?" The boy paused for a moment. He looked down at the small starfish in his hand. Then he looked up at the old man, smiled, and threw the starfish far out into the waves. As it splashed into the water, the boy said, "Well, I made a difference to that one." The old man represents the voice of overwhelm. It is the voice that says, "Learning English is too hard. There are too many words. I will never be fluent, so why bother learning 5 words today?" The boy represents the wisdom of the micro-action. He knows he cannot fix the whole problem instantly. He doesn't focus on the thousands he can't save. He focuses on the one he is holding right now. In your journey, do not look at the entire ocean of things you don't know. Just pick up one starfish today. Learn one phrase. Listen to one podcast. Write one sentence. Don't worry about saving the whole beach today. Just make a difference to that one. This philosophy is not just for fables. It is used by elite performers globally. Let us look at the concept of marginal gains, popularized by Sir Dave Brailsford, the former performance director of British cycling. Before Brailsford took over in 2003, British professional cycling was mediocre at best. They had won almost nothing for decades. Brailsford didn't look for one massive revolutionary change. Instead, he applied the 1% rule. He said, "The whole principle came from the idea that if you broke down everything you could think of that goes into riding a bike and then improve it by 1%, you will get a significant increase when you put them all together." They improved seat ergonomics by 1%. They got slightly lighter tires. They taught athletes the best way to wash their hands to avoid getting sick by 1%. They even tested which pillows led to the best sleep for each athlete. These tiny, almost invisible improvements, these single starfish thrown back into the sea, seemed insignificant on their own. But they compounded. Within 5 years, the British cycling team dominated the Beijing Olympics. Then they dominated the London Olympics. They went on to win multiple Tour de France titles. They became the most successful cycling team in modern history, not by doing one thing 100% better, but by doing 100 things 1% better. Overwhelm is a choice to focus on the macro instead of the micro. Never underestimate the power of a small action repeated daily. 1% better every day means you are 37 times better by the end of the year. Point. Focus on the process, not the outcome. Throw the starfish, don't measure the beach. We have covered much ground today. We have learned about the hidden root system of the bamboo, the value of our cracked pots, and the power of throwing just one starfish. And all the while, your brain has been soaking in these sounds, patterns, and structures of English. You are watering your soil right now. Remember, this is not a race with a finish line. Language learning and personal growth is an infinite game. The goal is not to win by reaching a certain level of fluency and then stopping. The goal is to keep playing, to keep growing, to keep expanding the boundaries of your world. The storms will come, you will feel tired, you will feel like an empty patch of dirt. When that happens, return to these stories. Remember that the most significant growth happens when no one is watching. Keep showing up, keep listening, keep watering your roots. I look forward to seeing how high your bamboo tree will grow. Until our next session, stay curious.